Hey, everybody, I'm back again because you asked me to come back. I am responding to a post from a man who is pretty much disgusted. He is disgusted by the fact that some women think because they're beautiful that he should pay their bills. Now, honestly, I agree with him. I'm Dolores Jones, the comeback coach, simply here to help you bounce back better, not bitter, through life experiences and bad decisions. Ladies, men are saying you can't boss them around. You're not the boss of me because you're pretty. And I actually agree with them, but I want to know what you think. And I want to share some of your comments. So thank you for joining me on my Facebook page as well as YouTube, honey, Dolores Jones TV. All right. I got a few of y'all in the building. And so I just want to reiterate what this young man said. And we'll dive into this conversation. The guy posted this tweet. He tweeted, actually, until I put a ring on your finger. Until I put a ring on it, honey. Well, come on, let me read this. I'll make sure I get everything he said. He said, until I put a ring on your finger, your financial burdens remain entirely your responsibility, not mine. Any help I render is from the good of my heart. It was never and isn't your right, not an obligation for me. Some women think because they look good, men owe them money. I said, okay, somebody hit it. Somebody hit it. Ladies, I know, we may be divided on this, but as you grow, you get older, there's certain things that you learn. And so I'm going to venture to say I agree with that young man. I agree with that young man. Some of us have been misinformed. Yeah. Now we're going to get to your comment. Let's see. Some of you have been misinformed. A guy doesn't owe you anything. He doesn't. And if you choose to sleep with him, that's your decision. And you have to know why you're sleeping with him. But just because he's your boo, there's no guarantee that he's going to even step up to take care of you. Now, his way in 1995, he said, D, I believe in helping a female out regardless. That's just me. So it does depend upon the man. But I will tell y'all this from personal experience. I was back in the day, much back in the day, I was dating someone and I was just in between a hard place. Now, I own my own house, but I was struggling like with gas money, stuff, little stuff like that. And then one time I had a gas bill. And so I asked him, I don't even know if I asked him. I didn't say, well, will you pay my bill? I just said, hey, I need a little help on this. And so he broke it down. At first, I didn't really want to hear what he had to say because I didn't appreciate it. I was like, he was going to say, okay, baby, I got you. No, he said, now listen, I have a budget. And I follow my budget to take care of my bills. Now, if I take money out of my budget to pay your bills, where is that going to leave me? And instead of getting an attitude, the key word was budget. Because you want to be with a man who is responsible financially. And let me tell you, there are men out there, they don't want to be with you if you're not financially responsible. Times have changed, honey. Lap dances are in the strip club. Okay? Shake a tail feather. You can shake all you want, but ain't no change necessarily going to come down. Some people ain't going to make it rain just because you think. So therefore, there are a couple of things we want to hit with this conversation. Firstly, ladies, you're better than that. You don't bargain with your booty. Don't make financial. I'm going to barter and what did I say? Barter and bargain with your booty. Okay? It ain't time for that. No. And if you put yourself out there like that, then you're going to get your feelings hurt. Because nothing is new under the sun, honey. You got to know your worth. Here's my question. Why aren't you working and taking care of your own bills? Miss Barbara, hello. And folks in the chat. She said, I agree. I agree. Your bills are not your boyfriend's responsibility. If he decides to put a ring on it, then now y'all need to sit down and talk about responsibility. So if he asks to see your credit report the same way you asked to see his credit report, these are the conversations that need to come before the bed, before you turn your intelligence off. Okay? Now, I do agree with his way. He says, D, what does it say about a man that sees you struggling and won't assist? That's true. I agree. Because any man that's into you should know what's happening with you, what's going on with you. You don't, tell him what's going on after the fact. He done came and slept up under your air conditioning. You don't do that. Because now, I had this conversation years ago with one of my relatives. I said, what's the difference between a prostitute and a woman who's sleeping with a man and make sure he wants to pay her bills? That's a hoeing right there. That ain't a relationship. You're supposed to have your stuff together. So he sees you doing and taking care of your business. Because if you want to be respected and treated like a queen, then you need to have queen qualities. If you out here trying to be a little girl and you looking for Prince Charming, then whatever the crumbs he gonna give you, you go ahead on and accept them and go sit down somewhere. But what this man was saying in the tweet was that, baby, I'm helping you because it's something I'm choosing to do, that your looks don't make me do anything. And in fact, it's a huge turnoff for men who are about their business. I've watched people, I was watching some, I got relatives, I got little nieces and all this stuff. And she was in the mood, twerking. And, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna learn how to twerk. And I said, well, wait a minute, but why are you learning how to twerk? Because I said, baby, you need to stop that and learn how to work. Because whatever you start out in a relationship, you're going to have to finish. And if that's not the price you're willing to pay, then you might want to do something different. And here's the thing. Part of the problem is for some of us, depending upon how we were raised, we're taught to focus more on, put it on it. Okay. Well, what happens if somebody else walks up and wants to put it on it? What you gonna do? You gonna put it on it twice, 3 times a lady? No, you gotta have standards. You gotta say, I don't need you to rescue me, but it would be nice if you wanted to help out. We live in a time now, honey, that sometimes it takes 2 and 3 jobs to run a household because some people gotta have so much. But even now with this coronavirus hitting, baby, this is when the rubber meets the road. You got to know what you made of. You got to know what you made of. These boyfriends ain't looking to be babysitters. And here's the thing. If he's paying the bills, he's going to be paying a whole lot of other things. If he is directing the finances, then you need to go sit your butt home because he's going to want to know where you at and when you coming home. The other day I was talking to this young white guy. He was a young kid, a young man, 23 years old. And so he met this young woman on, one of these social medias. And so I'm talking to him and sometimes as an adult, you can kind of sense some tension. And he and I got to talking. And I said, well, how long y'all been dating? He's like, 7 months. And he didn't look happy about it. And I said, well, what's going on? He's like, well, I'm trying to help her sell this car because she got this car and she's upside down in it. And so he bought her another car. Now, this is 7 months. I don't know what kind of coochie she got, but if it's made of gold, I need to talk to God about that. But anyway, I digress. So I'm looking at him and he says, and she wants to move in with me. And I said, young man, I don't think that's a good idea. I said, because what happens is you will begin to resent her. And I don't care how fine you are. Once a person starts to resent you, that's a wrap. Because nobody wants you to be a liability. Relationships are about enhancement. If you haven't taken the time to sort out your stuff and there are other options, then why would you bring that to the table and put it on somebody else? That's selfishness. Well, my mama said, well, your mama ain't his girlfriend. And his mama must have raised him completely differently. So now this girl wants to move in with this young man, and he got 2 other roommates, male roommates. I said, where is her mama? He said, she out of town. Send her to her mama. Okay? My son ain't gonna bring somebody up in here that's a liability. He not about to do it. As hard as I struggle, ain't no way. Listen, I told my own brothers, y'all can't live with me for free. So you get to decide what you want to do. And you're not coming up in here at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you get to decide what values, what's important to you. Young ladies, if getting your nails done and getting a butt implant and all this other stuff is more important to you than paying your bills, then hey, you're going to meet a man and he's going to be a quality man. And he's not going to deal with that. Now, if you want to be walking around with these men, you know, who feel like as long as you putting it on them, then they, you know, girl, please. No. I agree with you, Miss Barbara. She said, not in my house. Oh no, not on my watch. See, I've been married before. And when I got married, you know, I have 2 husbands. That means they were my husbands. I was younger. First time I got married, I was 23. I let somebody else tell me who I was supposed to be married to, because I didn't know what love looked like. My mom passed away when I was 5 years old. She was 21. My dad was nowhere to be found. So I'm like kind of doing this trial and error type of stuff. And I literally tore my life up to a certain point. But God, who is rich in mercy, I don't look like what I've been through. But honey, when I met the second one, I had my own house. I had a house. I was making $28,000 a year. I was a graduate student. I already had my bachelor's in broadcast journalism, my associates of arts, and now I was working on a master's degree in social work. So I wasn't desperate, but I still wasn't making good decisions because I was giving people the benefit of the doubt. You know, it's a shortage of black men. Well, you speak that over your life. I'm not speaking that over my life. Because I'm not looking for a man to be the source of my strength. God is the source of my strength. And as quiet as this kept, he is the provider for all of us. So what needs to happen is an investment in prayer, an investment in getting to know character. What you gonna do when it gets hard? So what this guy is saying is, why would I accept you in my life with this baggage? Because life happens. And if you're showing me you're not willing to take care of your own business, why would I even consider making you my wife? Now, with the man that I was dating, I made some mistakes. Number one, a man never had a key at my house. But because I was stuck on dark chocolate and trying to act like I was and turn my whole intelligence off, just, you know, girl, he was fine. He was taking out your trash. And next thing I know, he's looking at me like, you know, he's waiting outside until I get home. He got an attitude. And I'm looking at him like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, I'm your man. Why I got to wait outside? And now see, he sowed that seed. And I wasn't strong enough to say, boy, you ain't paying no bills here. Now, at least when I did give him I gave him a key to my house. That's when he started paying some bills up in there. Because if you live in there, you're going to pay some bills. But when he wasn't living there, honey, he wasn't paying no bills. God blessed me with my house. I got in that first time home buyers program. I was still in graduate school as a single mother, raising my son, practicing the principles that I learned that God will be pleased with, and the wisdom from my grandmother and my great-grandma, all of them. Listen, you're going to go through some stuff. I had to learn, you don't need 4 pairs of shoes of the same type of shoe in 4 different colors. Part of that comes from, you know, growing up when you don't have anything and you want to feel like you're not going to run out. And now I'm getting rid of stuff that I've had for years. Why? Because it has made my life miserable. Every time I move, the last time I moved, I paid $900 to move junk. And see, what happened was when I had my own house, I had stuff together. But I wasn't really, I wasn't being authentic. So next thing you know, I got this man in my house and I'm trying not to fornicate. So now I'm trying to put myself back in another marriage so that, if I give him my cookies, then I ain't going to hell. So you got to cut all that foolishness out. You got to stop thinking with your vagina. There's a song that says, victory belongs to Jesus. Victory does not belong to your vagina. Hello, somebody. No, belongs to your vagina. If that's what you're selling, then okay. So I have my house and I'm taking care of my business. I'm paying my bills. Before I met this man, God taking care of me. I'm taking care of my son. $28,000 a year. I got a son. I got a 3-bedroom, 2-story house, 3 bedrooms. My mortgage was $363. And I was planning to keep that house to give it to my son. But I got a little stuck on stupid for a minute. The man, after all this foolishness, and I'm choosing to ignore, because some of us, one of my videos says, we're taught to lie for love. So I had this $5,000 credit card set aside for emergencies for my house. And he tells me, well, I want to get married, but I want to buy a house in Missouri. And I'm sitting here with my house in Kansas. And so I'm trying to follow his lead. And I'm telling him, well, I can't pay nothing over there, honey, because I'm responsible for this house right here. And then I want to play team. He didn't have any furniture in that house. So I used my $5,000 credit card to help furnish that other house. And when all the stuff hit the fan and I left him because I wasn't supposed to be with him in the first place, now I done created a financial problem for myself. My emergency fund was gone. And I paid for that. And now I'm still rebuilding, because all it takes is one decision to set you going in a completely different direction. That man is not there to take care of you. Ask yourself, why are your bills stacking up? I gave back a BMW. And at one point I could afford it, but at the other point, it was like, you don't even have $18,000 in your savings account. Why would you be paying $18,000 for a car? Because I wanted to floss. After all, I'm Dolores Jones. I'm on TV. I'm a comeback coach. I'm an author of a book called Stop the Dumb Stuff. Okay, well then you got to take your own advice. You got to take your own advice. So what I did is I gave the car back and went and bought me a $1,300 SUV. And I drove the thing till the wheels came off. And then recently, y'all know, with this coronavirus and stuff, I had bought me a car under $10,000. I was paying for it. It's a convertible. I love convertibles. It's Volkswagen. And the mechanic is telling me about all this stuff that's messed up. And then the warranty company didn't want to pay for it. I didn't call some man and say, can you help me? Because I knew he was going to want something. And they kept on telling me, well, this might be the problem. So I'm calling the bank. I'm calling the warranty company. Nobody wants to step up and take responsibility. The bank wants to give me another loan on top of that loan to fix a car that I paid a warranty for. Y'all know what I said, Miss Barbara? I said, look, y'all just keep that car for just a minute, because I'm getting my stuff in a row. I'm getting ready to go buy me a car cash, and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with the other one. I got to take that stress off of me. That ain't attractive. Being in debt is not sexy. Okay? It's not sexy. That's not sexy. That's not sexy. Damsels in distress. Honey, if that man has a strong head on his shoulder and he comes from a strong lineage of women, they're going to look at him and say, you better not bring that girl up in here. Because she knows you're not about to create a problem for my son. And do we know some of these guys, y'all got y'all nose wide open. She done gave you a little cookie and you done gone crazy. A woman was sharing a story with me about a grown son. He met this woman, young girl. By that time, I think she already had like 3 or 4 children. And I ain't got nothing wrong with, people having children, but those children are your responsibility. And so she said, he told his mother and father he was going to marry that young woman. And the parents said, don't do it. Don't marry her. She's not going to work and you're going to regret it. His nose all wide open. Maybe she had on some Victoria's Secrets. I don't know. Married her anyway. She sat home and put these demands on him. And he started trying to borrow money from his mother and his father to take care of his wife. And they told him, no, we're not going to take care of your wife. Your wife need a job. She said, now we'll send some money for our grandchildren, but we're not taking care of your wife. So the wife said, well, I ain't going to let our kids go over there. My friend, she said, I don't care. Stop creating problems for yourself. Ladies, make a man desire you. Be like, man, you know what? I got to get myself together because this sister ain't playing. She's smart. She's intelligent. I can't pull nothing on her. I mean, if I get to go over there and start playing with somebody else's cookie, she gonna leave me in a heartbeat. You got to have some class about yourself. And one of your standards are financial. I know it's hard. You know, as an African-American woman, you know, some of us don't come to the table with everything. And, you know, my biggest debt is student loans. I got 3 degrees. Okay. And I said, listen, God, until my business starts to turn over more, they just gonna have to keep that because the interest on the college loans is more than the actual loan. But I started sitting here saying, okay, Dolores, you sold your house, you don't have any bankruptcies, but baby, sometimes you might need go bankruptcy, do a bankruptcy and start over. I'll be 50 in November. And I'm like, well, I don't want to feel bad, baby. White House is giving people bailouts, but when you poor, it's called welfare. You better go get your little food stamps right now. Do whatever you need to do. Okay, give that little car back, and resist the desire to start flossing, trying to be a broke boss. Sometimes I'm boss. You ain't bossy. I'm bossy. I'm the one that they like to hate, baby. If you don't go sit your tail down and open a book somewhere. And you listen, men, I want to applaud y'all. The ones that now, this to me, somebody said a real man. I'm gonna put this up here. She said, that sounds like a real man. Now, my question to the people is, what is a real man? A real man is responsible. He's not gonna let you put him on no guilt trip, honey. Well, my mama said, go home to your mama. You should be an asset. The virtuous woman that a lot of people talk about is she had her own stuff going on. It wasn't that she just sitting at church all day. She had her own business. And then sometimes when you have your stuff, some men can't handle the light. The man tells you, baby, hey, let's see what you're working on. I may be able to assist you. And then don't go talking to your friends. Well, girl, if he was really serious about marrying you, I mean, he'd be paying all your bills now. And most of them is broke. Because you're the sum total of the 5 closest friends in your space. I'm around women who are bosses. I'm a part of a group called Domination Nation. Domination Nation. These women are ready to dominate. So we're on Facebook doing webinars, getting our stuff together. I've been divorced now for maybe going on 20 years. But you know what? I'm happy. I'm at peace. And if I decide to say I do, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to do it because I'm broke. I'm not going to marry a clown wearing a crown and I'm a queen and I know my thing. I'm not about to do it. And I ain't going to Priscilla's or nothing else and get no dildos. Now, if you want real talk, then you want to talk to me. This is Dolores Jones. I'm the comeback coach. I help you bounce back better, not bitter, through life experiences and bad decisions. And sometimes people keep sugarcoating this stuff and lying to you. One of my videos on my channel says we have been taught to lie for love. I ended up in a marriage for 7 years because I kept lying. Once you start telling one lie, you got to keep telling another lie. And most of the time you lie because you don't take time to get to know yourself. Because some of this stuff, let's be honest, a lot of stuff you buying, you don't need that junk. I wanted to cry when I looked at all the money I wasted. Just wasted. I'm sure I've had thousands upon hundreds of thousands of money in my life, but I wasted it on shoes that I still haven't worn. And I'm still paying money to carry it over here and carry it over there. And what I realized, let me tell you something. I know the man that I end up with, he don't want a whole lot of junk. He ain't trying to come over because I don't like it. Now, why would I want to give him something that I don't like? I don't like it. I had to say, Dolores, this is not who you are, honey. You're burdening yourself down. What man? You pretty. I mean, you gorgeous. God has blessed you. Amen. But what man in his right mind is want to come and sit up with you and you won't even take care of, be a good steward of your gifts, your anointing? Now, y'all know, ladies, listen, that's right. Handle your business and get out everybody else's. Jerry Springer, people on there just showing out. They looking like fools, and Jerry getting paid. Baby, you don't need to be famous. The way to be famous is to become effective. The more effective you are, people will talk about you. They'll get to know about you. And then certain opportunities will present themselves to you. And I don't care where you start. You can start at the bottom. But on your way up, make sure you got good sense and you got wisdom. You got standards and respect for yourself. I'll never ask a man, would you pay my mortgage? No, he'll hang around me and say, baby, what you got going on? You know, I got this job here. I got this bill I'm taking care of. And if he means you well, he'll say, well, baby, what can I help you with? And then I'll say, well, you know, I really appreciate that. But just because they help you with a bill don't mean they're still going to be faithful. Come on, somebody, because the one who said he was going to help me cheated. And then when I showed him, baby, I ain't got to put up with this. I know how to make money. Then he accused me of having a relationship with somebody else. I said, baby, do you know who I am? Now, when you met me, I was, you know, a little down, but I'm Dolores Jones, Dolores Mae Jones, Marianne Jones's daughter, Dolores Johnson's granddaughter, and Beatrice Caldwell's great granddaughter. And I got good sense and a few degrees to go with it. But most importantly, I know something about neology. I know how to go to God in prayer. And so eventually, instead of putting my cookies out there and all that other stuff, you know, because listen, baby, I don't care where you go. You're going to find somebody. One older guy, he was like, how much is your rent? And I was just all naive and green. Now, I met him through my boyfriend. He's my boyfriend's mentor. And the man saw me talking about, that dude ain't going to be able to do nothing for you. He said, how much is your rent? I'm really thinking, you know, he's going to send me to get some help. And then he said, how much is your car note? So it totaled like $800. He said, that ain't no money. I said, you don't think that's any money? He said, no, I can take care of that. I was like, Mr. So-and-so, you can take care of that? He said, if I have somewhere to lay my head, child, I wanted to look at. I said, sir, excuse me. You have me confused with Monica Lewinsky. My mama didn't raise me like that. Stop using your cookies, your looks. Open a book. Shake your moneymaker, which is your head. Pay attention. I've had to have my chain pulled. One day, you know, I meet people, pretty influential people. God said to me, hey, either he's God or I'm God. Meaning, when you got a problem, if you keep going to him, then he's your God. But if you got a problem, you come to me, I'm your daddy. So you created this mess. I'm going to help you get through it if you follow the process. But right now, we need to look at all this mess that you created. And maybe you learned to do that because those type of patterns were passed down to you. But you are intelligent enough to break the chain of that and start something again. Remember, I bought my house. I want to leave it for my son. So he's not out here tripping and begging for no place to sleep. And if you got off track, get your butt up, dust yourself off, and start at it again. Well, Miss Dolores, how many times should I start over? As many times as you need to. Like Denzel Washington said, you fall down 1, you get back up 7. You keep on stroking. Because he said, and I quote, you gonna suck at something, but don't stop. Don't you quit. You suck at paying bills, then sit your butt down, especially if you're some young woman and you got children and you don't have somebody that's really going to help you. They have transitional programs out there. And what a transitional program is, they let you into a program, they hook you up with a financial coach, and you live rent free while you're getting all your money together. They put your kids in a nice place, and some of these places are furnished. Here's the rule: you can't have a man staying overnight. Do you know the women I was coaching, some of them got evicted because they got some guy that still snuck him up in there overnight? Now, if he was that kind of man, you wouldn't even be in this program. Nobody owes you anything, honey, but a good God bless you. They say man up. I say woman up. Stand up and look at your stuff and forgive yourself. If you knew better, you would have done better. I understand that. I've been homeless, ridiculed, talked about, tricked, just dogged out. But I just decided this is not my destiny. That was an experience. But this is the life I choose to have. And it starts right here. It starts right here. Take some time to go watch my video about the monkey brain. The monkey brain is a concept of, when you're in situational depression, that means things have happened around you. And with coronavirus going on, it's not surprising. And after coronavirus is over, it's going to take its toll. And so people have to learn to have a new normal. Some people don't want a new normal. They're still trying to hold on to the way it was. It's gone. So monkey brain, everybody's thoughts and opinions about you. You land there and you feeling less than because you done lost your job. I've been there. Look at you, just washed up. You ain't married no more. You sold your house. I've been through it. Forgot who I was, forgot my name, and here I am. Oh, Lord. But then God will give you a place to get yourself together. So thank God, one of my girlfriends named Lisa, she said, girl, get rid of that $900 rent of that townhome and come and take one of these rooms in my house and get yourself together. And I almost didn't do it. Why? Because I'm independent. You got to be interdependent. Everybody needs somebody. And instead of trying to put that pressure on some guy, go where some queen is trying to teach you something. And yes, it's uncomfortable. I don't bring a man up in her house. If he ain't got no house, I don't need to be talking to him anyway. Handle your business. Handle your business. It's hard. Well, do it hard. What are you showing your daughter? What are you showing your sons? It won't be like this always. That monkey brain, though, it's coming at you because you've got social media competing with you. You looking at who Beyonce, what movie she at. Child, listen, turn that TV off. And when you done watch my video, turn this off too. You got to clear your mind. Now, the monkey brain is an image. I want you to imagine a chimpanzee. And the chimp is, I don't think I should do that. I got to keep my girls, straight. Okay. But the monkey's just jumping around, losing control. And that's what your mind is, right? So you don't know how to turn it off. And it starts causing you to make all kind of poor decisions. But let me help you turn it off like somebody helped me turn it off. You have to understand that the thoughts and feelings and opinions that people have of you, they don't belong to you. They're not yours. You don't own them. And so in my meditation of listening to these people teach me about the monkey brain, and all this weight has been on me. I'm just like, oh my God. And I broke my leg right before they quarantined people. Listen, y'all, you're going to go through. But just because you go through don't mean you have to go back to what you got out of. And so the person in the meditation, they're saying, you are an observer of those thoughts. Meaning these thoughts are all around you, right? Then you stop and step outside of those thoughts and you start looking at them and you send them back on from where they came. And he said to imagine a cloud and let them just go on with a cloud. And I had to recently, this was recent, I had to release a thought that my husband of over 16 years ago said to me. He said, you're not a good, he said, no, he said, you're a horrible mother. And so whenever I found myself struggling, I could hear him in my ear. He wasn't even my husband anymore, but I could keep hearing him. And so when I was struggling, you could hear, you're a horrible mother. And I would fight it. And I would try to impress him. He don't care nothing about me. He showed he didn't care nothing about me. But I got my tail up out of there when I realized that. He done went on and got married doing his business. That ain't my job. My job is my job. And let me tell you something. I'm not a horrible mother. My son, our son, I bought his first car. I paid for that. His daddy didn't help with anything. I can't go over there and make a grown man do anything. What I'm going to do is be the woman that I know I am supposed to be. And I'm going to raise my son the way he's supposed to be raised. And so for this man to tell me you're a horrible mother, I was carrying around that baggage. But the proof is our son is a bilingual, college educated, 22-year-old, 6'2" young man who's working on his second degree and heading to Atlanta, who has choreographed dances, who has won competitions. Honey, let me tell you something. That boy got 2 degrees. His daddy, he just went to high school. He ain't been to jail. Got his head on straight. He works a job. He's not out somewhere stealing and robbing and thugging. But that one thought was keeping me off balance. But when I saw that those were his thoughts, like everybody else's crazy stuff, I just sent him on up to a cloud. Go ahead on. And then God reminded me, baby, you know how to fly above the clouds. You just go with me. I'm going to take you back above the clouds. So before you start trying to do something for somebody, now listen, this done went into a whole nother lesson. Ask yourself, what's your motive? If you stop saying yes to the things that you should say no to, you'll have the time to work on yourself. See, I was, I could have been doing this type of thing a long time ago, but I was over here trying to make sure this person, they got it, but I didn't want them to think bad of me. I mean, they're going to think, Dolores, who she thinks she is? She on TV and everything. I know she met Oprah, whatever, And I'm over here, I don't want to piss her off, and I definitely want to piss her off, but I don't want her to think that, and I don't want to, and baby, when I got that meditation, and I stepped out of the circle of those people's thoughts, and I said, those are not my thoughts. Those don't belong to me. I'm an observer of other people's thoughts. I'm not the owner, okay? And sometimes we're not taking care of our business because we're not clear, but I'm here to tell you, you can start over again. I want to thank you for watching me. I went over a little bit, but I just feel like some things should be addressed and some things you can't rush. Just like you can't hurry love, okay? If you feel that this particular video has been beneficial to you, please share it with somebody. And if this is your first time with me, Dolores Jones, please click the subscribe button and come back. For those of you that have been with me since day one on Facebook, I appreciate you. Now let me go get some dinner, y'all. It's like 8 o'clock or something. But I'm so passionate about this thing that I just didn't even eat today. All right, 7:19. I'm from Kansas City, if you're guessing where she's from. I'm from Kansas, actually. We have more than goats and cows and Toto. We've got some powerful sisters, some powerful people out here in the Midwest, right here in Kansas. But I'm more than willing to come to where you're at, honey. I am. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all of your wonderful comments. All right. Share this stuff with the grown folks. This is grown folk conversation. We're trying to teach you something. Okay. All right. Be blessed. Take care.